In my last video, we looked at a thread of sort of a timeline to do with Hailey Bieber and her relationship with Selena Gomez. Not really a relationship with Selena Gomez, but instances of Hailey being somewhat of a fan of Selena to seeming to shade her and her friends, Hailey's friends shading Selena, and things like following and unfollowing fan accounts and following and unfollowing Selena Gomez exposed accounts, and allegations of her copying looks, using the same makeup artist and nail technician, going to the same gym, just some all-round weird stuff. If you're unaware of all of that and you want to catch up on all of that, then you can check out that video that will be linked in the description for you to check out. Now, the reason that this all came up for me and the reason I decided to look at it, as you will know, is because the teaser for Hailey Bieber's Call Her Daddy episode was released onto Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. And in it they said she was going to be talking about her relationship with Justin Bieber, as well as Selena Gomez and the hate that she's received from fans. And in that, she teased there was going to be some kind of truth, as well as being asked the question, was there ever some crossover between your relationship with Justin and Selena's relationship with Justin? So we were promised a lot out of this.
Your husband was in a very public relationship. People were obsessed with them being together. Mm-hmm. Were you ever with Justin romantically at the same time as her?
This is so crazy. I've literally never talked about this ever. A lot of the hate and the perpetuation comes from like, oh, you stole him. It's about people knowing the truth. Because there's a truth.
Now, the Call Her Daddy episode has come out, so I listened to it this morning and everything that was said in it. So we're going to go over the main points that she made, mostly about Justin and Selena, because that's what we're talking about. Obviously, there was other stuff mentioned to do with her style and her intimate parts of her life, which I am not going to discuss because it's not what we're talking about today. Cool. Anyway, before we get into that, I would like to ask if you would please subscribe to this channel. There's actually a really good reason why, and you will want to listen to this. It is because I'm having a really bad hair week, right? So that's because not enough people are subscribing. So if more people subscribe, I'll have a good hair week and then we'll all be really, really happy. And, you know, I'll just be all around a better human. So for the good of humanity and my hair, you should subscribe. Thank you. Turn on notifications as well. Also, you can follow me on social media. I'm VangelinaSkov everywhere now. Moving on. I wanted to briefly talk about Selena Gomez actually before I talk about what was said in this thing. I'm going to keep it brief. I just wanted to tell you guys something. So like I said in my last video, which you will have watched by now. If not, you'll watch it after this one. I said that I never really kept up with Selena Gomez. I didn't know much about her. I just knew a couple of her songs and I liked them. And it was just the songs that I either heard on the radio or had randomly come up for me on YouTube sometime and I just listened to them and I liked them. Now, because of all of this and all the stuff that was coming up on Twitter and all of that, I decided to take it upon myself to listen to more of her music. So I went, right, let's find the songs that I like, find out which albums they're in, and then I'll listen to the whole album. So I started with Birthday, which that is, of all the Selena Gomez songs I've heard, that's my favorite one. I don't know if that's like a good choice or not, don't come for me stans. I just really like that song. And that's in the Stars Dance album, which as it turns out is a really good album. So thank you, Hailey Bieber. Now let's move on. So Hailey obviously talked about her relationship to Justin first and pretty much just said that they have a good relationship, that he's her best friend, he makes her smile and laugh and they're very happy and all of that. Also cleared up some stuff to do with her saying that marriage is hard work. Was saying that people had taken that to mean her saying like marriage is awful and hate it and it's always difficult, where she was just saying like sometimes you need to put work in and that's that. There's that. Not really much else to say on that because it's not the main bulk of what we're talking about today. I just kind of wanted to preface with that because that's what she started with. So here's the big question. The question that was featured in the teaser of this episode. Was there crossover in the relationship with her and Justin and with Selena Gomez? This is the question that was posed to her and she quite frankly says no, there wasn't. She was never in a relationship with Justin when he was with anybody else. She was not seeing Justin when he was with anybody else, not even just Selena. So I don't know if there was some other people that he was seeing and all of that. So it just didn't happen according to her. Because of this, she talks a lot about a timeline. She keeps saying that people in the public have their own perception of the timeline between them, and they seem to all have it wrong, and really the only people that know the real timeline are her and Justin. Now, she doesn't clarify and like give a full timeline of everything. All she ever really says is like she's been with him since she was 18. But when she's asked in this episode, which she is asked this a lot of, what's, you know, the worst things about like what people think, what is the biggest issue for you when people are attacking you, like this and that, what do you think the problem is, the main thing that she keeps coming back to throughout this interview is this timeline of her saying people have it wrong and nobody knows the truth. This is the truth that she was talking about in the teaser for this episode. That's the truth, is the timeline. Now, she doesn't explain it, but there is a truth, as she would say. Obviously, as well, she does talk about the hate that she gets and the drama and all of that. One example that they were talking about is when she was at the Met Gala with Justin Bieber in 2021, people were chanting Selena at her. And people had thought that she was crying on the red carpet, but she says that wasn't the case. But this is just one example of the hate that she receives. And obviously there is quite a lot, like nobody is disputing that. Although the reasons for it are kind of disputable given the stuff that we looked at in the last video. And her whole thing that she keeps coming back to is that this is not the biggest deal for her, although it does upset her, but she's happy in her relationship, and she says that everybody involved knows what happened, they know the story, they know the timeline, and everybody has moved on. So she talks about Justin and Justin's ex, i.e. Selena, having all, you know, worked things out, they're all okay with each other, they all have respect for each other, and they all have moved on. So according to her, they're all on good terms, and she even said that there were times in the past, which again have been speculated on a lot by fans on both sides, when Selena and Justin were hanging out together while Hailey and Justin were in a relationship. And according to Hailey, this was a good thing because they were working stuff out and they were closing a chapter so that Justin would be able to move on and be able to get on with his life, get married without, you know, feeling like there was still something there with Selena. According to her, it's closed, they've all walked away, and they've all moved on completely. That's what she says anyway. Now, whether you believe that, that's your prerogative, because I know a lot of people don't. There's a lot of people online saying that she's just saying this because blah blah blah, this reason, that reason, whatever. But it is, you know, it is possible that they've worked it out and they're all fine. Even if they're not on the best terms and they don't all love each other, they could have just gone, okay, that's enough, going to walk away now. Right, let's take a breather here for a minute, and we're going to talk about one very small part of this interview actually, which a lot of people are really focusing on. It seems to be a big issue for a lot of people. Seriously, everybody seems to have an opinion on this. So this is when she was asked, has Justin or anybody ever tried to ask Selena to step in and try and stop this hate? So not has she ever asked Selena, has Justin or anybody tried to ask Selena this? And her answer for this is kind of weird, because the question is just, has anybody asked Selena to do this? And it kind of, the way she answers it, it comes across like no, and you know, Selena never stood up for me or never stepped in. We're going to talk about that bit more in a second, but her answer is pretty much, Selena's been in the industry for longer than I have, and maybe she knows something that I don't, like if she said something it wouldn't help, yada yada. And if she stepped in and stopped it, that would be great, but you know, she doesn't owe me anything, neither of us owe each other anything. Which on surface level sounds, you know, like a very mature, good answer. But here's kind of the problem with this, in that it's making it sound like Selena has never told people to stop harassing her, which is not the case. Selena has actually said to her fans, don't harass anybody on my behalf, I don't agree with women tearing women down, stuff like that.
I'm so grateful. However, I do not stand for women tearing women down, and I will never, ever be by that. So please be kind to everyone. It doesn't matter what the situation is. If you're my fans, don't be rude to anybody, please. Don't go off and say things that you just feel in the moment. And just please, for me, know that that's not my heart. And my heart is only to release things that I feel that are me and that I'm proud of. And that's all that I'll say.
So you can see, like, she did make an attempt to try and stop all of this, but why Hailey is making it sound like that didn't happen in any capacity at all is beyond me, and a lot of people are confused about it. I've seen the argument being made against people making this point of like, no, but everybody's getting it wrong. She wasn't asked has Selena ever stood in. She was just asked if Justin has ever asked Selena to stop this, and that's why she said no. And that's all well and good, but she still answers it in a way that says like, Selena has never stood up for me, which as we can see quite clearly is not the case. So I'm not sure why, and I don't want to speculate on the why this was the answer that was given, but it just doesn't add up properly. There was a lot asked in this interview. She was asked a lot of questions to do with this whole situation in this interview, and the main points that she made, as I already said, is that they're all on good terms, they've all moved on, walked away, they all have respect for each other, yada yada. The issue is not a lot of stuff was gone into in detail, which obviously you don't owe anybody intricate details of your personal life, of your marriage, or anything like that, but she did go on this interview to talk about the situation, and I'm not sure why she didn't give more detail in that case. And I know she said she doesn't want to speak on behalf of Selena or of Justin because that's their story and all of that, but I still think on her part she was quite reserved, and maybe that's because, like she said, she's anxious and all of that. But then why do the interview in the first place when you know that's what you're going to be talking about, but you're not willing to really talk about it? Again, she doesn't owe anybody any detailed answers of her life, but she did go on the interview. The other thing is it doesn't get brought up at all, the stuff to do with, for example, the things we talked about in the last video of her following Selena Gomez accounts, of her friends shading Selena, of all the different rumors to do with her slightly obsessing over Selena Gomez. And I'm just wondering, was there anything said beforehand like, I don't want to answer these questions, or were the questions just not asked, or was she just going to avoid them at all costs no matter what? Because I would have been interested in knowing that stuff. I think a lot of people would have been interested in knowing her side of that, but again, it's just one of those things that didn't get talked about. The details were not given. It was all just kind of, although her answers were very mature and, you know, gracious or whatever you want to call it, I don't know, English is really hard for me sometimes. They're just kind of blanket answers. It's just like surface level stuff, you know? So I am a little bit disappointed that none of that was discussed at all. So I don't know, I think that's all we're ever really gonna get from her. I mean, she said she doesn't want to talk about this stuff again. Maybe she will in the future, who knows? Hopefully, you know, she's moved on from whatever issues she was having in that regard. Hopefully everybody's moved on. I don't really know. But I'm looking forward to the Selena Gomez documentary. I think that's going to be fun. I want to learn a bit more about her, and I just think it'll be interesting. So do let me know what you thought about all of this. Did you watch or listen to the podcast episode? And what do you think about the answers that Hailey gave to these questions? Please as well, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. It really does help me out. If you haven't done it by now, just do it. Like, you can always undo it at any point if you want to, you know? It's fine. Follow me on social media. I'm VangelinaSkov everywhere. Like, comment, share, do all the things that I was supposed to ask you to do at the end of a video, and have a wonderful day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!